She smirked at me across the crowded room and told everyone I was the reason my husband never came home. My response was a single, whispered sentence that shattered her entire world. Let me explain how a quiet question became the most powerful weapon in the room. My name is Claire. For 11 years, I built a life with Daniel. He's a partner at a respected law firm, stowing in gray. I knew his rhythms, the late nights, the stress, the way he'd decompress. But 6 months ago, the soundtrack of our marriage changed. The late nights became more frequent, especially on Thursdays. He'd come home distant, shower immediately, and his phone was a constant companion. The intimacy faded. I felt like a ghost in my own home. I'm not naive. I know the signs. So, I did what any intelligent woman would do. I sought the truth. I found charges for a boutique hotel downtown, all on Thursday afternoons. 3 of them. Then, they stopped. That's when I knew it was more complicated than a simple affair. I called an old friend, Maya, who now runs a discreet investigation firm. I think something's wrong. I told her in a minimalist office. I need to know what. She asked for a name. His executive assistant, Vanessa Reed. Vanessa was brilliant, efficient, and had been with Daniel for 4 years. They usually are, Maya noted, her pen poised. She promised me answers in 2 weeks. What she found was stranger than infidelity. Daniel and Vanessa were meeting, but there were no romantic gestures. Just intense conversations at the office or a neutral cafe. It's not physical, Maya reported over the phone, but it's a partnership. She dug deeper and found Vanessa's secret. A serious hit-and-run last September. The charges vanished from the record entirely within days. That requires high-level legal influence, Claire. The kind your husband's firm can provide. The puzzle pieces clicked into a terrifying picture. Maya discovered whispers at the firm about discrepancies in a major cases billing the Kensington merger, hours billed that didn't align with work done. The timeline was perfect. Vanessa's incident happens, the firm makes it disappear, and suddenly she and Daniel are locked in these secretive, late-night sessions. The hotel charges. Days Daniel was supposedly at out-of-town client meetings that never happened. He was fabricating expenses. They were bound together by mutual destruction. He needed her silence on the fraud. She needed his protection for her crime. But Maya uncovered one more chilling detail. Vanessa had been using Daniel's login to access confidential client files after hours. If that was discovered, it wouldn't just be a scandal, it would be curry ending for everyone. I held this knowledge for 3 weeks, a live wire in my hands. Confronting Daniel privately would let him spin lies. I needed a different stage. The firm's annual gala was perfect. Everyone who mattered would be there. The night arrived. I wore emerald green. Daniel was tense. Vanessa held court by the bar, glowing with a confidence that felt like a challenge. It happened during dessert. A group of us were talking when Vanessa's eyes slid to me. Daniel works so tirelessly, she said, voice sugar-sweet and loud, enough to draw listeners. It must be hard for him to find motivation to leave this energy and come home to choir. The wives nearby froze. The insult hung in the air, delicate and poisonous. I simply smiled, the kind that doesn't reach your eyes. It's remarkable how much trust Daniel places in you, Vanessa. She blinked, her champagne flute halting midair. I took a single step closer. With all that access, all those confidential files after hours, it must be a heavy responsibility. Her smirk faltered. I leaned in, my voice a breath only she could hear. Does Daniel know you've been pulling the Kensington settlement documents from his terminal? Or should I ask the senior partners if they've audited his login history lately? The color drained from her face. Her glass trembled. I haven't, she stammered. I just maintained my calm smile. Enjoy the rest of your evening, I said at normal volume. Then turned toward the dessert table as if we'd discussed the weather. My heart was a drum against my ribs, but my hands were steady. I didn't look back. I could feel her stare burning into my spine. Daniel found me 10 minutes later by the patio doors. What did you say to her? He demanded, his voice low and strained. She looks terrified. She should, I replied, meeting his gaze. She insulted your wife in public. I merely reminded her that trust has limits. His expression shifted from confusion to dawning horror. He knew. Later, I found them in the hushed hallway near the lobby. Their whispered argument was frantic. She knows about September. Vanessa was nearly weeping. She mentioned the Kensington files. How could she know? Have you been accessing those files? Daniel's voice was a razor's edge. I had to know how deep the trouble was, she cried. If they look at Kensington, they'll see the fabricated hours, and my name is all over the administrative trail. I stepped into the light. They froze. 2 deer in headlights. The raffle is startin', I said pleasantly. Vanessa, you look unwell. You should go home. She fled. Daniel and I stood alone in the ornate hallway. What do you want? He asked, defeated. Everything, I said. Tomorrow, you will audit every file Vanessa touched. You will decide if you confess to the managing partner or live in fear. She will resign with a flawless reference, and you will be home by 6 every single day. You will become transparent. Then we will see what's left of us. He simply nodded, the fight gone from him. Out in the car, he tried to speak. I turned down classical music. He slept in the guest room. I slept soundly for the first time in half a year. Vanessa resigned the following week for an incredible new opportunity. Daniel began coming home at 6. 3 weeks later, he confessed the billing irregularities on the Kensington case to the senior partner. He accepted probation, a repayment plan, and a paused partnership track. He never mentioned Vanessa's file access. Some secrets are better buried. Maya called to check in. You navigated that perfectly, she said. I told her I just asked the right question. The power isn't in knowing a secret, it's in choosing the perfect moment to reveal that you know. Daniel is trying now. Time will tell if our marriage recovers, but she looks at me differently, not as the woman he comes home to, but as the woman who understood the game he was playing and changed the rules. And I've never felt more in control. If you felt the satisfaction of that quiet part, of using knowledge instead of noise, hit that like button. It helps this channel to know immensely. Subscribe for more stories about reclaiming your narrative, one calculated move at a time.